You will find yourself connecting to Azure portal several times a day and manage the resources here. Now I have connected to portal.azure.com and I can then manage all of these resources that you see on the left hand side. So you can create virtual networks, load balancers, virtual machines, and this list is endless. There are just too many resources that Azure has as of today. You can find out all the resources that Azure has by clicking on all services. Once you click on it, you will see the world of Azure and you can actually create everything from the top to the bottom. There are hundreds and thousands of resources provided by Microsoft and their partners in the Azure portal. In this video, let's understand what options are available inside the Azure portal. Services is just one of them. You also have this dashboard option. You can create your custom dashboard. So as soon as you log into the Azure portal, what do you want to see? Do you want to see the monitoring status of the virtual machines that were created this week? Do you want to see the billing report per time zone? So administrators usually create a new dashboard by clicking on the dashboard button and then adding these resources to the grid on the right hand side. So I can just click on this add button and then it adds the element on the grid. You can change the time zone from what exists on this block, from this is European standard, and you can change it to whatever you want in this list. Do you want it 24-hour format or 12-hour format? Well, let's add some more resources from the left hand side to the grid. Well, you can say I want to add availability and users and groups in Active Directory, user activity summary, and I also want to know how many resource groups I have. You can drag and drop these elements in the grid to give it a better look and feel, and then just click on Done Customizing. You have your new dashboard created. So as soon as you log in, you can toggle between your custom dashboards. Usually we rename these dashboards to refer it to a particular department or a business unit. Now these elements on the dashboard act as a quick reference point to your resource in Azure. So let's say you want to find out how many users and groups you have in Active Directory. I can just click on it and it takes me right there into the interface. So I do not have to drill down to this particular resource and then identify my resources there, right? So dashboard is a quick reference point to all my resources. On the top right hand side, you can see your user ID that you're logged in with. This one is a feedback button. So anytime you want to give feedback to Microsoft, you can just do that by clicking on this smiley button, write your feedback here and click on submit feedback. There's a help option. So at any point in time, you want to know more about Microsoft services, the roadmap as to where Microsoft is going and taking the Azure services. Are there any new public and private preview features being released? Well, these are the hyperlinks that will help us identify that. Settings will help us modify the look and feel of the interface, changing the color, notifications, and how the interface acts and gives you a user experience is all controlled in this settings button, which looks like a gear. The notification will tell us any actions or activities happening in your Azure portal. For instance, if you are creating a virtual machine or a web application or a storage account or restarting a virtual machine, the status of such actions are shown up in the notifications. Then you have this filter option. Organizations usually have multiple directories, and that will happen if the organization has acquired and has more than one organization within them. They will merge those directories into one and keep it in a single unified console. So you can then see those subscriptions right here. You can filter those subscriptions here and manage them from a single unified console. If you would like to manage your resources using Azure PowerShell or with Azure Shell, then you can just click on the Cloud Shell option. Moving forward, in the next video, we will use this Azure Shell and PowerShell to create resources in the cloud. It's just not about creating, but also managing the resources, like let's say restarting a virtual machine, adding a new hard disk, or adding additional memory to the virtual machine. Well, these are just few things that I said, but everything can be controlled using Azure Shell as well as the PowerShell. Well, this is just a snapshot of Azure interface, which is portal.azure.com. But as and when we start using this interface, there will be new things that will surface and we will discuss about them.